easily find out that how many workers we need to hire. So we calculated the value of marginal product of labor. So we hired the second worker. He is giving us $800 as a revenue. He picked 80 bushels and give us 800 revenue because market price is 10. We hired third worker. He's giving us $600 revenue, and we hired fourth worker and he's giving us $400 profit. While the wages of per week workers are 500. So where we need to stop hire? Can you answer? Where MC is equal to MR, or where value of MPL, marginal product of labor, is equal to wages. So is it this? Which means, do we hire 4 workers or do we hire 3 workers? In 4 worker, we are paying 500 and we are receiving revenue from him 400. So it's like a loss situation. He is not giving us enough money and we are paying him higher wages. Wherever you see the third worker, in third worker, you see that he is getting us earned $600 and we are paying him $500. So it means value of marginal product of labor is equal to wages apply here, right? So all those people want to start their own business. So you should remember that one. You need to stop hire where you see that the person that I hired, he is giving us lower revenue and we are paying him higher. So we should fire him. Right, guys? Understand? Or should I repeat? David, Dijodi,
No, makes sense.
Jacob, Kim,
Yeah.
Nam, Sunho.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty easy. So if you ask me, it is the same condition for MC is equal to MR. Simple. But here we need to use fancy names because we are talking about the factor of production. Right, guys? So let's talk about, so I have a very nice case study here, which is 2 sides of the same coin. So it is page number 399. You can refer to book chapter. You can find out over there. So now, since the demand for factor of production are derived demand, so demand of the labor is also a derived demand, and it shifts. Yes, it shifts due to 3 factors. Number 1, the output prices. Number 2, technological changes. Number 3, the supply of other factors. So the output prices, if the price is increased, which final good price, right? If the apple prices rises, demand for apple picker also rises, shift to the right. Right, guys? If the demand for shoes rises, the demand for shoe makers or shoemaker labors are also rises. Technological changes, okay, if technology changes, demand also changes, right? If more educated people are needed, demand also rises. The supply of other factors, which means the supply of one factor, for example, if, so we are just finding out the labor, if there is land and capital, if demand, if labor are fixed, if labor prices are fixed, wages are fixed, what if the rent on the land is decreased or the capital cost is decreased, right? What happened? Demand for labor rises. The owner will say that, or producer will say that, okay, even if the labor is right now costly, but we have found a place over there where rent is decreased, or where the government has announced tax relief, right? So we hire more people to in order to make more goods, right? In that case, if supply of other factor of production rises, the demand for labor shift to the right. So if fall in the supply of other factors, then there would be a fall in the supply of labor. If you don't have any, you cannot find the machinery, even the labor is cheap, you cannot hire extra labor. Why? Because you don't have that much space and you don't have that much machinery as well. So fall in supply of ladder will reduce the market price of apple pickers or market demand for apple pickers. Right, guys? So before going into the next slide, okay, let's talk about the concept checker. If you understand right now what we have discussed, so please answer this question. If the price of airline tickets falls, what will happen to the demand curve for flight attendants? So, Miria, can you answer? Can you answer? Faik, can you answer?
I think it will shift to the left.
Shift to the left.
B, sir.
Okay. Subhan,
I think B also, sir.
we also, let's talk about this.
I think A, because if the... Oh, okay.
Not A. If the price of airline tickets falls, price of final product, right? And since the flight attendants, they are labor, which is the factor of production, so factor of production also fall because this is the derived demand, right? If the output prices falls, right? Quantity demanded of factor of production also falls. Right, guys? David. Okay, now before talking about the supply of labor, let's take a 10 minutes break. Then we start from here. Okay, guys? Okay, class, welcome back after a break. Okay, we were discussing about the demand for labor, and then we talk about the shift for labor. So let's talk about the supply of labor. So supply of labor depends upon work and layer trade-off. So which means, your choice that you want to spend more time for work or more time for your layer. Layer can be like watching TV, dinner with friends, hobby, family time. It's like that. So the labor supply curve reflects how workers' decisions about labor layer trade-off responds to the change in opportunity cost. What does it mean? For example, you are given 10 hours, $10 an hour, and you work for 5 hours a day, which means your daily salary is like $50. What if the company gives you that, okay, you work 6 hours and we pay you for extra hour, we pay you $10. You say no. But what the company says, if we are going to give you $20 for 6th hour. Now you think about that. Okay, if I go to my house and I need to have a family dinner, go to the take out my family, and it's going to be like $15 I pay for normal meals. So it's good if I spend one more hour and take that $20 and go to the local restaurant and purchase that meal and go to home. It would be more beneficial for me. So this concept is lost opportunity. The cost of lost opportunity is called opportunity cost. So you think about the benefits and the cost. So the upward sloping labor supply curve means that an increase in wages induces workers to increase the quantity of labor they supply. It means by looking at the increase in wages, now they increase their labor supply from 5 hours to 6 hours. So labor supply depends on, first of all, the trade-off between work and leisure, right? If you are given the opportunity for the same like 2.5-hour class to a job, now you need to find out that whether the job is lucrative or this lecture is lucrative. If you find out that I paid like 600 yuan per lecture, and I found a job that gives me 1,000 yuan or 2,000 yuan for 2.5 hours, then you definitely will be confused about like whether to attend this lecture or whether to go for this job. Right, guys? Okay. So what causes shift? So we know that the labor supply depends on trade-off between leisure and the work. And now the shift in the labor supply, the same upward sloping curve with the supply curve, the law of supply apply over there, but that depends on increase in wages, the quantity of wages. That depends on work versus leisure. Now shift to the right mean increase in supply, shift to the left mean decrease in supply. That concepts are the same. So I'm not going into that one. Just going to give you that what factors causes shift in supply curve for labor. So changes in taste or attitude, for example, now attitudes are changing. Women are more into this work. When there is more workers, they are willingly to work, means shift to the right. Changes in alternative opportunities. What does it mean? It means if you find the alternative opportunity and doing work over there is the same that you are doing work here, right? It means you can switch to the next job if they pay you higher salary. For example, here, if the wages earned by peers picker suddenly rises, so there is a small difference between apple picker and the peer picker. It's approximately the same type of labor are needed over there. So some workers will move to peer picking, right? Because apple pickers, they find lucrative to work in peer picking, so they just go over there and earn a good salary over there. So supply of apple picker fall.